It's not ended, it's just beginning. The full moon may be over, but what's happening now is more powerful than the moon itself. Between now and July 15th, we've entered one of the most powerful windows of the entire year. A sacred 72-hour portal where your past, your purpose, and your next path all begin to collide. This is not just an energy shift. This is a spiritual turning point. And if you've been seeing signs, feeling tired, or sensing that something big is around the corner, you're not making it up. You're awakening. Most people will miss this, but if you're here, you're not most people. You are guided to this message for a reason. And what you hear in the next few minutes could unlock the exact clarity your soul has been waiting for. Right now, we are inside one of the most charged alignments of the month. The full moon that peaked on July 10th has opened a 72-hour spiritual window, a sacred corridor that stretches through July the 13th. But it's not just the moon. It's what's unfolding around it. As this moonlight fades, Venus is aligning with Regulus, the royal star of the lion, symbol of heart-centered truth and divine authority. In ancient astrology, this was seen as the throne of the soul when love, power, and destiny meet. At the same time, Mars is approaching Algol, the star known as Medusa's eye, feared in myth for its ability to shatter illusions and awaken hidden rage. This isn't just astronomy, this is alchemy. We are inside a gateway where ancient archetypes return and your soul remembers who it came here to become. The cosmos has tilted, not in chaos, but in divine precision. You're not drifting through random emotions or unexplained memories. You're being recalibrated. The moon unlocked more than tides. It stirred timelines, soul timelines, the kind that hold ancient memories, karmic loops, and decisions made before this lifetime even began. Those contracts written in the ink of your higher self are surfacing now, not to haunt you, but to release you. Old patterns may feel louder than usual. People from your past might suddenly appear in your mind or even your inbox. Habits you thought you healed might resurface. But don't confuse recurrence with failure. This is closure, not a setback. The full moon flushed the hidden layers of your emotional body, and now your spirit is choosing which chords to cut, which loops to end, and which truths you're finally ready to walk into. Your light body is adjusting to the subtle shifts in your sleep, your energy, even your appetite. They're all signs of integration. Downloads are happening in the background. You may not be able to explain why you feel pulled to certain music, symbols, or memories from years ago. That's your cellular memory responding to the frequency coming in. Your DNA holds codes that awaken when the soul is ready, and many of those codes are being touched. Now, the alignment of Venus with Regulus opens the heart chakra in a way that doesn't just ask for love, it demands truth. Mars dancing near Algol isn't just about intensity. It's about confronting what you've buried beneath survival. That's why so many are feeling raw, sensitive, restless. Your soul is expanding faster than your mind can keep up with, and that's okay. You're not meant to make sense of it all right away. You're meant to feel your way through the shift and trust that what's breaking open was never meant to stay hidden. This isn't a phase, it's a turning point, not just for the world, but for you. Your body already knows what your mind is just starting to understand. The moon has done more than rise and fall. It has opened a sacred gateway that will remain active for the next 3 days. From now until the 13th, you are walking through a corridor of energetic release, spiritual recalibration, and deep soul activation. That's why everything feels more intense. You may be feeling pressure in your chest, tightness in your heart, or a strange buzzing in your ears. Your sleep might be scattered or completely restless, or you might feel the opposite, so heavy, so tired, like gravity itself has thickened. These are not problems. These are signs that your frequency is shifting. Your body is responding to lunar light codes that are still moving through your energetic system. Long after the moon's peak has passed, there's a reason your emotions feel closer to the surface right now. Crying without a cause, flashes of old memories, bursts of anger, or waves of joy that feel like they came out of nowhere. Your soul is clearing space. Every sensation is a message, and every emotion is energy being stirred so it can be released. You're not losing control. You're reclaiming clarity. Even physical symptoms, heart flutters, ringing ears, sudden hot or cold waves, random muscle aches, are your light body updating its circuitry. You are tuning into higher frequencies. And the body, being the dense vessel it is, takes a little time to catch up. Be patient, be gentle. You're not meant to power through this, you're meant to surrender to it. The moon holds memory, and during these 3 days, those memories, karmic, cellular, ancestral, rise like smoke in the soul. This is why you're craving silence. This is why people from your past may cross your mind or your path. You are clearing what you no longer need in order to carry forward only what is true. Let yourself rest even when the world pulls at you. Let yourself breathe even when emotions surge. The moon is still speaking, and your spirit is finally listening. The spiritual shift surrounding July 13th isn't just about light, insight, or cosmic beauty. It's also about what rises from the depths when the surface begins to crack. In this powerful window, what's been buried doesn't stay buried. Your fears, your doubts, your quiet inner wounds, they don't disappear under moonlight. They rise, they ache, they speak, and they do so because your soul is strong enough now to witness them. This is the essence of shadow work. Not a trend, not a technique, but a sacred encounter with the parts of you you've learned to silence, the hidden self, the one shaped by rejection, abandonment, failure, and fear. The shadow isn't your enemy, it's your forgotten companion. And when the energy intensifies like it does now, that shadow steps forward, not to destroy you, but to ask for your attention, your honesty, your love. Many feel confused when old emotional patterns return. Why am I triggered by things I thought I healed? Why do I feel so easily thrown off center? It's not regression, it's revelation. The shift around this full moon has stirred your soul contracts, and with it, the karmic residue you've been carrying lifetime after lifetime. Some of it is yours, some of it is inherited, but all of it is rising to be understood. Psychiatrist James Hillman once wrote that the soul doesn't want to be cured, it wants to be seen. That's the work now. Not to escape the shadow, but to look at it fully, to see where it formed, what it taught you, and how it's been silently shaping your choices. When you find yourself reacting intensely, pulling away from connection, or doubting your worth, it may not be the present moment you're responding to. It might be an old wound speaking through a fresh experience. You're not weak for feeling heavy. You're not broken for remembering pain. You're not regressing by revisiting what hurt you. The truth is, healing rarely looks graceful. It often looks like chaos before it looks like clarity. And the soul, wise as it is, knows when you're ready to meet your darkness without fear. This is that time. The energy of July 13th brings light to the places you've kept locked away. And if you're willing to sit with your truth, even when it shakes, you'll realize your shadow isn't your curse, it's your compass. These 3 days following the moon's brightest breath in July are not just a soft echo, they are a full reset. You are standing at the edge of a personal rebirth, whether you planned it or not. And this isn't the kind of shift that waits for permission. It arrives like fire and wind, clearing, activating, breaking open the old scaffolding of your spirit to make way for something that's been dormant for too long. Your system is receiving what mystics once called light codes, subtle, invisible waves of spiritual intelligence that don't speak to your mind, but to your energy body. These codes are ancient, and they know you better than you know yourself. They find the places in your field where power was dimmed, voice was muted, and gifts were hidden behind survival. And they turn the lights back on. You might not realize it yet, but something deep inside you has already started to wake up. A kind of spiritual muscle memory, a knowing that doesn't need proof, a feeling that you're being returned to a version of yourself that always existed, just buried beneath conditioning, fear, or fatigue. This is the beginning of a different vibration, one that doesn't just carry more light, but more clarity, more strength, more inner truth. Your chakras are not simply spinning wheels of color, they are energetic gates, and during this time, many of them are unlocking at once. The throat may pulse with unspoken words and truths that finally want breath. The solar plexus may burn with a new kind of courage, asking you to reclaim your boundaries, your decisions, your life force, and your crown. That sacred portal to the divine might feel more open than usual, like the veil is thinning and your inner guidance is louder than ever. This is not a gentle upgrade, it's a spiritual ignition. Old desires will fall away. People or paths that no longer resonate may fade or feel distant. That's not loss, it's alignment. You are being pulled into a timeline that holds the blueprint of your higher self. The version of you that isn't afraid to trust, to speak, to act, to begin again. New spiritual gifts often surface in windows like this. Intuitive downloads, sudden creative surges, vivid dreams with clear messages, psychic senses sharpening. If you felt your perception shift, if you've noticed more synchronicities, déjà vu, or moments where time seems to slow down, you're not imagining it, you're activating. From July the 13th to July 15th, these days are not meant to break you. They are meant to break you open. You don't have to chase transformation. It's already happening. Your only task is to allow it, to move with it, to surrender to the knowing that what is falling away was never meant to stay, and what is arriving is so much more than you ever expected. The world is moving differently now. You may have noticed it in the air. How the silence feels heavier than usual, how the noise of the world sounds slightly off, as if reality itself is tuning to a new frequency. Since the July full moon, especially in the days leading toward July 13th, a spiritual shift has been reverberating across the planet, and it's not subtle anymore. It's not hidden in the dream world or whispered in sacred texts. It's alive in the very fabric of how people are waking up, grieving, shedding, remembering, and returning to who they are. This moon didn't rise just for illumination. It rose for activation. And that light didn't just fall upon your personal path. It cast itself across the collective heart of humanity, across borders, languages, and beliefs. This lunar pulse stirred not just your soul, but the soul of the earth. And as each person opens, cracks, softens, and expands, the collective field begins to shift. Every decision you make now, whether to stay asleep or to awaken, to repeat the past or to rewrite the future, ripples outward like waves in a vast ocean. These are not small choices anymore. They are timelines. They are collective keys. And as more of us begin to embody our truth, our intuition, our spiritual gifts, the old structures that have held the planet in spiritual amnesia begin to collapse. What's happening now is not chaos. It is cleansing. Old systems are crumbling, not because humanity is failing, but because it's finally remembering. The moon has long been a witness to our forgetting and our remembering. And this July full moon, timed with other cosmic alignments, has opened a crack in the collective veil. It's why so many feel disoriented, disconnected, deeply emotional. But it's also why so many are suddenly realizing they can't go back to who they were. In the past few days, many have felt an urgency they can't explain, a restlessness that isn't about tasks or time, it's about truth. The illusion of separation is thinning, and in this space, your vibration becomes your signature. Your inner state becomes part of the global tuning fork, and the world begins to respond to that vibration more quickly than ever before. We are in a spiritual relay now. Your awakening fuels another's. Your courage to face your wounds gives another soul permission to feel their own. When you forgive yourself, someone else breaks free from shame. This is the quantum echo of true collective ascension. You're not just healing for you. You're clearing karmic dust from the ancestral web. You're breaking patterns that have been held in your bloodline for centuries. And as that pattern releases in you, it begins to release in others. Sometimes silently, sometimes all at once. Since the moon's rise, sacred contracts have been stirred between souls who agreed to meet again in this life to finish what began lifetimes ago. You might see this in sudden reunions, old faces returning, or the deep knowing that you've outgrown certain relationships, even if they've been part of your life forever. This is not abandonment. This is alignment. The collective soul is rearranging itself. And the more honest you are with yourself, the more gracefully your role in the larger symphony will emerge. The spiritual shifts peaking around July the 13th are not just energetic, they are structural. Look around. Institutions are losing trust. Old authorities are being questioned. Truths once buried are surfacing faster than they can be denied. This isn't a breakdown of civilization. It's the remembering of who we were before civilization taught us to forget. Before we were told that our magic was myth, our intuition was superstition, and our spiritual gifts were dangerous. The moon remembers, and now so do you. Even those who don't speak the language of astrology or energy are feeling the call. You'll see it in the eyes of strangers, in the collective grief that seems to rise suddenly and fall like a wave across social timelines. In the art that's beginning to emerge, more raw, more real, more soul-led than ever. The collective heart is being broken open, not for pain, but for purification. Those born with sacred sensitivities, the empaths, the intuitives, the seers, are no longer just feeling their own wounds. They're feeling the pain of the whole, and that pain is a summons, not to drown in it, but to transmute it. This is where your personal transformation becomes a collective offering. You were never meant to carry it all alone, but you were always meant to feel enough to awaken. And now that you are, the question becomes, what will you do with this fire? The moon's glow has activated a remembering, not just in individuals, but in collectives. Soul tribes scattered across timelines are being magnetized back together. Some people you're thinking about now may have walked beside you through ancient temples, initiation rites, or spiritual revolutions that never made the history books. You feel them because you once stood side by side with them, and you're being called to rise again together. This awakening isn't about perfection, it's about presence. It's about choosing love when fear would be easier. Choosing truth when silence would be safer, choosing to remember when forgetting would feel far more comfortable. And as you make that choice over and over again, you become a living node in the planetary grid, a beacon, a pulse, a transmitter of light codes, not just through your words, but through your presence, your vibration, your being. The frequency of July 13th cannot be measured on a chart alone. It's alive in the collective nervous system. It's alive in every strange synchronicity, every breakdown that leads to breakthrough. Every moment you choose your soul over your story. And what is being activated now isn't just an individual rebirth. It's the return of collective sovereignty, of people waking up to the knowing that they are not small, not separate, and not powerless. We are crossing a threshold not seen in generations, and those who have eyes to see can feel it, not just in the moonlight, but in the mirror, not just in prophecy, but in their own pulse. This is the hour where inner awakening meets global unraveling, and as the old scaffolding falls away, what remains is raw, luminous, and real. The moon's light illuminated more than emotional tides. It cast a glow over our collective shadows, the places humanity has avoided for too long. On a deeper level, these next 3 days are not only for personal reflection, but for communal metamorphosis. Each soul awakening now contributes to a larger spiritual frequency, a living field of awareness that's beginning to shift the very foundation of what it means to be alive on Earth. You've probably noticed that conversations are changing. People who never talked about intuition, synchronicities, or soul callings are now questioning the narrative, sensing there's more beneath the surface that isn't random. The magnetic field of Earth is responding to human consciousness like never before. And those sudden downloads, vivid dreams, intuitive hits, and spiritual activations you've been having, they're not isolated. They are part of a planetary code being unlocked by many at once. Some are waking up through heartbreak, some through beauty, some through the quiet collapse of everything they once believed. But in all cases, the same truth emerges. There's no going back to sleep, not after the soul has been stirred by the pulse of remembrance. We are in the age of divine participation. The moon is no longer just something we look at for inspiration. It's a living symbol of the mystery within us. The lunar energy of July has rippled into the root chakra of the Earth's energy field, unsettling survival fears, ancestral trauma, and the illusion of separation. But with it comes the potential for collective grounding, where fear can be alchemized into courage and stagnation into movement. Even now, you may feel pulled between two timelines. One where the world continues its descent into fear, division, and numbness, and another where sacred remembrance reshapes our systems, our choices, and our shared future. The truth? Both realities exist, but only one is rising, and your presence matters more than you know. Your rituals, your choices, your inner work. It's not just for your healing. It shifts the vibrational field around you, creating pockets of coherence in the chaos. You are part of a new Earth architecture. Now, every breath you take in awareness is a brick laid in the foundation of a more awakened collective. July 13th, as a spiritual activation point, has ignited not just your intuitive gifts, but also your responsibility as a frequency holder. The way you treat your body, the way you speak to yourself, the way you choose love even when it's hard, these are no longer small actions. They are part of the new collective grid. And just like mycelium beneath a forest floor, this awakening spreads in silence, in softness, and in sacred connection. Across the globe, people are tuning in, not because someone told them to, but because their soul couldn't ignore the call anymore. The old spiritual hierarchy is dissolving. There are no more gatekeepers, no chosen few, just millions of souls who agreed to wake up and hold the line together. You may feel alone at times, but you're not. You're in resonance with thousands of others who, like you, are listening to the whispers beneath the noise, that pain in your chest. It's the grief of lifetimes moving through, that tingling in your hands. It's your energy body waking up, that urge to create, to speak, to love deeper. It's the frequency of truth pulling you forward. And as your light activates, so does the grid. The collective web of awakened souls strengthens, the veil grows thinner, and in this spiritual momentum, new systems are quietly being born, not just in the outer world, but in the hearts of those who remember. This shift isn't about political revolutions or mass movements, though they may come. It's about the deep inner revolutions that change how we live, how we love, how we walk through the world. When enough hearts beat in resonance, new realities are born without resistance. That is how quantum change unfolds, not through force, but through frequency. The moon didn't just stir tides, it stirred destiny. And those who are awake now are not just observers. They are anchors, translators of divine will, architects of what's next. And if you're still here, still listening, still feeling this in your bones, it means you're one of them. You came here not just to witness the shift, but to embody it, to live it, to light it from the inside out. So as the moon continues to wane and the spiritual shifts of this July passage echo through the next 3 days, remember, you are not just affected by the collective field. You are actively shaping it with every honest breath, every surrendered tear, every moment you choose soul over ego. You are building the frequency of the future. Let this be your confirmation. Let it be your call to rise. The world is not falling apart. It is falling into place. And you, dear one, are not lost in the chaos. Everything you are becoming now will echo in the timelines of tomorrow. So walk with reverence, speak with truth, love with ferocity, and hold nothing back from the light trying to rise through you. The moon remembers, and so do you. The July moon, especially its rise near the 13th, was not simply a glow in the sky. It was an initiator. What you are stepping into now asks for more than reflection. It asks for embodiment. These next few days are not for rushing forward. They are for anchoring the frequencies you've been receiving. This is the time to walk as if the sacred is beneath your feet, because it is. In Hermetic teachings they say, as above, so below. The moon reflects what the soul already knows but often forgets. And in the days following this lunar activation, you are being guided to bring the unseen into the seen, to let the divine pulse move through your daily rituals like breath through a flute. Begin at the threshold of your body. A salt bath with rosemary or rose petals helps cleanse not only your skin but your auric residue. You are shedding stories with every layer you release. As you soak, speak your truth out loud, even if it's cracked, even if it's trembling. Shamanic traditions teach that the voice is a vehicle of power. When you speak with intention, the universe listens. Sit in stillness as the moonlight fades and place your hands on your heart. Feel your pulse. Whisper to yourself, I remember. This phrase is not poetry. It is a spiritual ignition. It calls your fragmented pieces back into wholeness. Burning mugwort or Palo Santo, not as trend, but as invocation, allows you to clear the noise that does not belong to you. Trace the smoke around your crown, your chest, your spine. This is not a performance. It's a reclaiming. Every movement you make with sacred intent sends a message to the quantum field. I am aligned, I am present, I am ready. These are not routines. They are signals to the divine. If July 13th cracked something open in you, don't leave it unspoken. Type "marked by the moon" in the comments and let the universe hear your yes. Send this to someone who's been walking through the fog, someone whose spirit needs to remember what their soul never forgot. And if this stirred something real in you, subscribe, stay with us. What the moon activated on July 13th was not just energy. It was prophecy, and your name is written in it. Because this path isn't for the many. It's for the ones who feel before they understand, who awaken before they're ready. You're not behind.